Zhong Ming travels through the world of navigation, awakens the Liyue Divine Kingdom system at the beginning, and obtains the role template of Zhong Li. Every time the country upgrades, it can obtain special buildings and enhance its strength. Qunyu Pavilion. Can summon the 7 Stars of Liyue, the Immortal Liyue. Qianyan Army Infinity. Qingce Village. Water Source Infinity, Grain Infinity, Liyue Port. National Fleet Sailing Speed 1000%, Fleet Robustness 1000%, Rock Formation Abyss. Mineral Infinity, Summoning the Dragon King of Ruodao. At this point, the world of navigation has become an incredibly prosperous and powerful superpower. It is a rich country in the hearts of the maritime people. It's what the pirates call Rafdru, the land of gold. Zhong Ming. In this world, demons and gods rise together. Although I have no intention of chasing deer, I know the suffering of the world. I only wish to cleanse the 4 corners and protect a corner of the floating world. Red-haired. Zhong Ming is the most interesting person I have ever seen. Red Dog. The naval justice of Liyue is absolute justice. Join Liyue. 5 old stars. When did this powerful country emerge? Whoever loves or wants to break through Maria, must get Liyue. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Rebirth Navigation, System Awakening. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The year 1522 in the High Yuan calendar. The first half of the Great Voyage, the Kingdom of Tertia. The main hall of the royal palace in the royal city. A muscular and handsome man was sitting on the throne with a tired face. Have I traveled? And, have you traveled to the world of navigation? After a long time, Zhong Ming took a deep breath and muttered to himself. Just half a day ago. He unfortunately drowned in order to save a drowning child. At the moment of death, a white light flashed through his mind and he arrived here. And his current identity is the world of navigation, the new king of the kingdom of Tertia, Tertia Zhong Ming. What a world of navigation! Thinking of this, Zhong Ming felt a chill in his heart. You know, people here are not as good as dogs, a heinous era where pirates roam everywhere. Not to mention, the naval forces led by the world government possess many extraordinary powers. That's the 4 sea emperors, 7 martial seas. It also dominates one side, with countless powerful cadres under its command. Not to mention the countless pirate groups. Therefore, this world can be said to be full of danger. A slight mistake, my life is in danger. Your Majesty. The King of the Kingdom of Kerland has issued us with the final ultimatum. If we refuse to sign the surrender agreement today, he will raise tens of thousands of troops to land on the island tomorrow. How should I wait for? At this moment, a sound came into Zhong Ming's ear. He looked up. A group of ministers were kneeling trembling on the ground. The speaker is an old man with grey hair. This person is Niels, the appointed minister of duty by the old king, He. Upon hearing this, Zhong Ming let out a sigh. Yes, the current situation in the entire country of Tertia is extremely dangerous. The fundamental reason is the invasion of foreign enemies. Last year, the once poor kingdom of Tertia suddenly discovered a huge gold mine within its borders. This news, for some reason leaked, immediately attracted the attention of neighboring countries. The Kingdom of Kerland. The other party is a member country of the world government. It is also the most powerful country in the nearby waters. At that time, in order to facilitate the dispatch of envoys, it was requested to jointly mine with the Kingdom of Tertia. Earnings of 37% open. The other party is 7. The old king naturally did not agree with such arrogant demands. The other party saw that this was not possible and immediately launched an invasion. The weak kingdom of Tertia could only be forced to confront it. After several major wars, the entire Tertia, which used to be several islands, now only has this last one left. There are only 6,000 soldiers left domestically, and their morale is unstable. But the other party still has tens of thousands of troops. Make a judgment based on the high gap. And now, Kerland is approaching 100,000 troops, with only Qin soldiers on the west coast of Tertia. You can invade at any time. And because of perennial poverty, Tertia has been unable to afford the heavenly gold and has become a member of the world government. Therefore, it is also unable to receive protection from the world government. There is a strong enemy on the outside, no military morale on the inside, no food and forage on the inside, and no reinforcements on the outside. It can be said that the situation is precarious. The old king also died the day before yesterday, and he hastily took over. Of course, I am still myself. It's clearly wearing. But I don't know why these people recognized him as the king. The sky collapses and starts. It's numb. Thinking of this, Zhong Ming felt like he was about to crack open. Ding. Successfully detected host traversal. The Liyue Divine Kingdom system is currently being bound. Binding successful. Congratulations to the host, obtain the initial building. Qunyu Pavilion, and obtain the Rock King Emperor Zhong Li template, automatically bound, with 5% strength. The next moment, a voice came to Zhong Ming's mind. System. Upon hearing this, Zhong Ming felt great joy in his heart. In my past life, as a fan of novels, I naturally became quite familiar with them. Novels never deceive me. View. Without saying a word, Zhong Ming silently recited. After a moment, the smile on Zhong Ming's face could no longer be suppressed. The Liyue Divine Kingdom system. As the name suggests, it is to let him create the Liyue in the world of navigation. The stronger a country is, the higher its level will be. Correspondingly, the higher the national level, the more various buildings of Liyue will be unlocked. The initial clock departure template, he gained 5% of the peak combat power of Zhong Li. The peak of Zhong Li's combat power. That is a ruthless person who can defeat many demon gods when all the demons and gods rise together on the continent of Tibet. Such strength, even if penetrating the entire world of navigation, is effortless. And Qunyu Pavilion is capable of recruiting characters like Liyue. There is also a powerful army like the Qianyan Army, which helps him make the country stronger. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Thinking of this, Zhong Ming couldn't help but burst out laughing. The arrogant laughter echoed throughout the entire hall. Is this? At this moment, the ministers kneeling on the ground were completely bewildered. Is this a crisis moment now? How could their king, His Majesty, laugh? Isn't it? Unable to withstand pressure. Are you crazy? Your Majesty. Your Majesty. The situation is in crisis now, why are you laughing? At this moment, Niels, an old minister on the side, asked. He knows the pressure your Majesty is currently under. But now, isn't it really time to laugh? I'll ask you all. Ladies and gentlemen, who wants to surrender and negotiate peace? Please step forward. I want to see the minister's thoughts. However, Zhong Ming didn't take over and turned to ask. Is this? Upon hearing this, the ministers were bewildered. They don't know, why does your Majesty ask such a question? But at this moment, the people present, the vast majority are clear. Only by negotiating and surrendering can Tertia have the opportunity to continue. Although from then on, there will be limitations everywhere and even the possibility of becoming a puppet, as long as the country does not perish, there is still a chance. Therefore, nearly half of the ministers gradually stepped out of the ranks. Seeing this, Zhong Ming's eyes coldly swept over these people. As the saying goes, to resist the outside, one must first settle the inside. These people, in order to live, would rather accept shameless conditions. Not worthy of being a vassal of Liyue at all. Someone. Immediately, Zhong Ming shouted loudly. Your Majesty. I am here. Beside him, a brave guard walked out and knelt on one knee. This person is his personal guard captain, Trail. My ancestors have always been the captain of the king's personal guards, loyal to the Tertia royal family. Take the people who come out. All executed on the spot. Immediately, Zhong Ming coldly ordered. Hiss. Is this? As soon as these words were spoken, the entire palace and hall were filled with shock. Everyone takes a deep breath. Your Majesty. How could this be done? At this critical moment, execute the royal ministers. Yes. Someone. Upon hearing these words, Terrell immediately responded. As the captain of your Majesty's personal guard. He has only one creed. Oath to die loyalty to the king, resolutely execute the king's orders, and defend the king's safety. In an instant, hundreds of soldiers walked in at the entrance of the palace. Kill. With a wave of his hand, Trallio charged towards the minister who walked out. Ah! Your Majesty! Your Majesty! Please spare your life. Please spare your life, Your Majesty. Your Majesty, are we also waiting for the Tertia royal family? For a moment, inside the main hall, there were screams and blood splattered. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. Changing the Nation, Liyue appears in the navigation world. You are listening at novel full.audio. After a moment, blood flowed into the main hall. A strong bloody smell, exceptionally pungent. Dozens of ministers who advocated surrender and peace negotiations were completely killed, leaving only those who had not left trembling with fear. At this moment, there was only one thought in their hearts. Your Majesty, it's too ruthless. I, Tertia, will never surrender. Who dares to surrender again? This is the end. Zhong Ming's gaze swept over the crowd and he said coldly. At this moment, no one dared to look at him. What he wants is this effect, knock the mountain and shake the tiger. You should know that he, who now possesses the power of the system and Zhong Li, can completely destroy the entire kingdom of Kerland. Surrender. Peace talks. It's just a joke. I will abide by your Majesty's words. Immediately, a group of ministers shouted in unison. That's great. Secretary. Upon hearing this, Zhong Ming said again. Your Majesty, I am here. Among the ministers, a middle-aged man walked out. Record it, Tertia, and it will be renamed Liyue from then on. Refuse to surrender and negotiate peace. Tomorrow, fight to the death with the kingdom of Kerland. Immediately. Notify the whole country. Go now. At present, Zhong Ming expressed his thoughts. Is this? Upon hearing this, all the ministers were greatly surprised. Their new king has the same backbone as the old king. Better die than surrender. But will we fight to the death tomorrow? Is this just a joke? The country doesn't have any capital for decisive battles at all. And, we also need to rename the country. What operation is this? Does the king really plan to burn his bridges? Yes. After the clerk took note, he hurriedly walked out of the palace. The ministers could only hold back the king's decision. There's no way. This king really dares to kill. If we refute now, we may not even be able to live tomorrow. Seeing this, Zhong Ming nodded slightly. The next moment, a transparent panel appeared before his eyes. System. Liyue Xinhua System, Host. Zhong Ming, Binding Country. Liyue. National Level. 1. National Population. 185,000, number of troops. 6,000, Thousand Rock Army. 0, national architecture. None, national talent. None, attribute bonus. None, national resources, units. Gold. 5,000, silver. 30,000, iron ore. 150000, upgrade conditions. Population. 30,000, gold. 20,000, silver. 40,000, the top priority. First, build the Qunyu Pavilion. Zhong Ming swept through a group of panels and immediately decided. Then he stood up and walked down from the throne. Your Majesty. Where are you going? At this moment, the old minister Niels opened his mouth and asked. Where are you going? Ladies and gentlemen, why don't you all come with me? After Zhong Ming finished speaking, he left without looking back. Is this? Upon hearing the words, everyone looked at each other in confusion. But the king's orders, they can only abide by it. Soon, Zhong Ming and his guards arrived at an open space. Construction. After standing still, Zhong Ming silently recited in his heart. Tip. Does the host build the Qunyu Pavilion? Yes. Accompanied by the command of Zhong Ming. Roaming and rumbling. The entire imperial city began to shake violently. This. What's going on? Did an earthquake occur? Protect your Majesty. In an instant, both the guards and the ministers caused quite a stir. In an instant, a huge crack appeared in the sky above the imperial city. In the crack, a luxurious palace slowly emerged from it. Luxury decoration, bright glazed tiles, shimmering with extremely dazzling colors under the sunlight. And every pillar of the building is carved with dragons and painted with phoenixes. How luxurious it is. No matter where you look, it looks like a fairy family tower, suddenly appearing from above. Ah! So. What is that? Oh my goodness! Is that a castle in the air? Why does it appear here? Oh my God! It's so exquisite. This is definitely the most exquisite building I have ever seen. In an instant, a group of guards and ministers all erupted in an uproar. My eyes were wide open, and my gaze was completely drawn. Staring intently at the Jade Pavilion. They have never seen such a luxurious and dazzling building before. Even their palace. Compared to this, isn't it just a little bit worse? Meanwhile, their brains also crashed. How could such a beautiful pavilion appear in this place? Tip. The initial construction of the Qunyu Pavilion has been completed. You have absolute control over Liyue Island, island teleportation enabled. Recruitment system activated. At this moment, in Zhong Ming's ears, a warning sound sounded. He felt that there was something extra in his mind. The entire island is in his hands. Even with a single thought, he could reach anywhere on the island. Your Majesty. What exactly is going on here? At this moment, Nils suppressed his shock and asked. He vaguely felt. This luxurious building is closely related to His Majesty the King. I didn't see it, Your Majesty, is it so calm? This is completely different from before. He must know something. As soon as these words were spoken, the gaze of all the ministers also turned. This building is a group of jade pavilions. I built it. Don't be too surprised, everyone. As for any miracles, you will know later. You are both my minister Liyue. In the future, you need to do your best for the development of my Liyue. Zhong Ming turned his head and said to the ministers. Hiss. Is this? As soon as these words were spoken, everyone was collectively confused. My eyes are full of shock. What? This exquisite castle in the air. Really, was it built by His Majesty? But. Your Majesty, how was it built? Is it difficult? Your Majesty, do you really have such great power? Do you even have the legendary ability of the devil fruit? After all, there is only the ability of devil fruit. Only then can such an adverse effect be achieved. In an instant, everyone felt their three views explode. There is a faint excitement in my heart. If your Majesty has such abilities. Isn't that to say tomorrow's decisive battle with Kerland and the rest of the world? Your Majesty really has confidence. We will remember your Majesty's order. Immediately, all the old officials knelt down and shouted in unison. At the same time, in various towns and streets of Liyue. Your Majesty has an order. From then on, I Tertia officially changed my name to Liyue. All of you are the descendants of the Liyue tribe. His Majesty the King refuses to surrender. Tomorrow we will fight to the death with the army of the Kingdom of Kerland. At this moment, the messenger on the street. They all used their horns to deliver orders to the people. Ensure that the king's orders are transmitted to everyone's ears in a timely manner. For a moment, the people of Quan Liyue were all shocked and in an uproar. Qing Ming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Liyue Army, Qianyan Army, Era in. You are listening at novel full.audio. In addition to these messengers, some officers and soldiers also put up notices in the corner of the street. The people of Liyue also began to watch crazily. Your Majesty is good, we Tertians refuse to surrender. Support your Majesty's decision. I would rather die than surrender. Even if it really fails, we acknowledge it. Long live your Majesty the King. Drive out the bandits like Kerland. Long live the King. Upon hearing this news, the people also became excited. After all, the two sides continue to fight. I have already ignited my anger. Even, it can be said that the blood feud between the two countries is already an irreconcilable hatred. Although the battle has been repeatedly defeated. But everyone has long held a mindset of burning their boats. It's not a big deal to die. The Tertians can survive on this barren land. Can still be subdued by the invaders. Did you trip your foot? In an instant, the morale of the entire country and its people surged unprecedentedly. Boom boom. At this moment, a slight shake sounded. What happened? The ground is shaking. Did an earthquake occur? My goodness. You. Look at the imperial city, look at the sky. So. What is that? In an instant, the people of Liyue looked up at the sky. When they saw the sky above the imperial city, the moment of Qunyu Pavilion. They also opened their eyes wide, full of shock. After all, they had never seen such a beautiful building before. And it suddenly appeared. That's a miracle. Is it a miracle? Right above the imperial city. Is that a miracle? Not long after, the people began to discuss and engage in heated discussions. Even many of them knelt down and kowtowed their heads. Liyue, West Coast, Bisco Port. A massive fleet, at this moment, it is hibernating on the sea surface. From a distance, like an epic beast. On the ground, Kerland soldiers were in temporary camps, staring in shock at the jade pavilion in the sky. Oh my goodness. So. What exactly is that? Tersi, do these bastards actually have such a building? Is it really too exquisite? I've never seen such a luxurious level before, comparable to a palace. So, did these guys still hide such a trick? What about them? As long as we defeat these bastards, this thing will be ours. That's right, their resistance is all in vain. Before long, the entire campsite was like a frying pan, discussing one after another. While they were shocked in their hearts. More, still excited. After all, in their view, the downfall of Tertia is a definite fact. Under the vastly different combat forces, has there been no possibility of failure for a long time? Isn't this country's property theirs? In the camp officer's tent, Commander Kelsey Morkan, looking ahead at the magnificent Jade Pavilion, showed a hint of greed. After all, such a magnificent attic. In anyone's eyes, they all want to take it for themselves. In his opinion, inside that attic, there must be a lot of treasures hidden, worth billions of Bailey. Commander, sir. The latest developments have arrived in the city of Tertia. At this moment, an adjutant rushed over in a hurry and panic. What? Morkong withdrew his greedy gaze and asked. According to the spies in the imperial city, the king of Tertia refuses to surrender and sends out a message to fight to the death with you. And, Tertia, officially renamed Liyue. And on their imperial city, there are eerie and exquisite attics that look like they are all made of jade. The deputy immediately reported loudly. Humph. Upon hearing this, a hint of anger flashed in Morkang's eyes. He didn't expect it. Is Tertia like this? Surprisingly, they still want to resist in a corner. Even at this critical moment, there is still leisure to change the country's name. It's simply ridiculous to the extreme. Hee. The royal family of Tertia is such a foolish bastard. Since the other party is seeking death, then there's no need to wait until tomorrow to save. Report to His Majesty the King. Also, give me orders. Everyone, head towards the city of Tertia and conquer it before dark. Immediately, Morkong ordered loudly. At this point, he couldn't wait anymore. We need to thoroughly search for that exquisite pavilion. Yes. Upon hearing this, the adjutant hurriedly retreated. At the same time, Zhong Ming sat leisurely in the main hall of the Qunyu Pavilion, viewing features. At present, Qunyu Pavilion only has two functions. One is recruitment and the other is summoning. Recruitment goes without saying. It is natural to recruit the Qianyan Army. The Qianyan Army's combat power is very strong, even on the Taiwan continent, its combat power is enough to hang and attack the Seven Kingdoms. The recruitment unit price is 1 gold and 1 place. The amount of existing gold in Liyue. Recruit enough troops to recruit 10,000 people. As for summoning, it is recruiting characters from the continent of Tebet. The number of summonings above shows. 1. It can be summoned once a day. And as the country upgrades, the number of summonings will increase. Thinking of this, Zhong Ming directly chose to recruit. Fill up the number of Qianyan Army directly. Now, the entire country needs a military. We must first eliminate the enemies we will invade in the future before the country can develop. Ding! Recruitment successful. Congratulations to the host, we have successfully recruited 10,000 Rock Army members. At the next moment, the sound sounded. A flower in front of Zhong Ming's eyes, the next moment. Soldiers who were nearly 2 meters tall, wearing giant armor, holding long spears, and imposing appeared before his eyes. The entire Jade Pavilion is almost fully occupied. They exuded a murderous aura, and with just a glance, they knew they were well trained. Your Majesty, Emperor. In the next moment, these people bent down to pay homage, their momentum like a rainbow. Name. Qianyan Army, belonging to Zhong Ming, life. 300, no bonus, strength. 300, no bonus, defense. 300, no bonus, agility. 300, no bonus, special ability. Thermal weapon resistance plus 200%. Note. In the world of navigation, the basic attributes of ordinary people are 10, Introduction. Liyue's ordinary guard is powerful, well trained, disciplined, and loyal to the Rock King Emperor. In Zhong Ming's eyes, the panels of these soldiers also appeared. So strong. Seeing this, Zhong Ming was secretly shocked. If according to the system, this soldier can completely match the strength of more than 30 people. But in reality, there is no problem with one enemy being 100. Zhong Mingxin thought for a moment. In his mind, a completed holographic map of Liyue appeared. Green represents one's own people. Red represents the enemy. Yellow represents malicious units. However, Zhong Ming glanced and frowned. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. Master of Cattle Miscellaneous Carving. See the light like me, chop. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the map, except for the west coast of Liyue, which is densely dotted with red dots. There are also many red dots throughout the entire royal city. It goes without saying that these people are basically enemy units. I didn't expect it. The entire Liyue is quite severely infiltrated. Qianyan Army. Get rid of those people in the royal city. Zhong Mingxin thought for a moment and gave an order to the Qianyan Army. He still said that sentence. What are you waiting for tomorrow? As long as the imperial city is stable. Let's clean up Kerland's guys today. Yes. Your Majesty, Emperor. In an instant, the 1,000 Rock Army called out together. Under the command of Zhong Ming, these soldiers slowly disappeared from the Qunyu Pavilion. After finishing these, Zhong Ming withdrew his gaze and stopped caring. But instead, place your mind on the summoning. I don't know what to summon. Hope, can you summon a character? Immediately, Zhong Ming silently thought in his heart. After all, according to understanding. He knew that not every time he summoned, he could summon a character. Moreover, there has not been a first mention of gold. It all depends on luck. Summoning. Accompanied by a command from Zhong Ming. Before his eyes, the massive stars began to tremble. A shooting star flashed through my eyes. Gradually starting to fall, gradually turning golden. It's a character. Zhong Ming's face suddenly showed a hint of joy. He didn't expect to play the role. Who is it? The next moment, his eyes flickered. Wearing a purple robe, a head of purple hair. A girl with a pair of ponytails and black silk on her legs appeared. Liyue 7-star Jade Hung. Kaching. See your Majesty, Emperor. A pleasant sound rang in Zhong Ming's ear. Kaching. Guasha Master. Cow awful shop owner. Upon seeing this, Zhong Ming was also momentarily taken aback, and then a little pleased. Although it is said that carving master dishes. But the master carver is not at all good. Congratulations to the host, successfully summoning the character. Kaching, Liyue, name. Kuqing, destination. Zhong Ming, age. 23, gender. Female, life. 2000, no bonus, agile. 2500, no bonus, defense. 2000, no bonus, strength. 2500, no bonus, weapon. One-handed sword, element. Thunder, skills. 1, cloud sword technique 2. Star return 3. Sky street parade, character bonus. 1, chasing emperor. Research speed of Liyue technology plus 50%, 2. No one is perfect. Territorial soldier attack bonus plus 50%, 3. Linglong heart. Defense bonus for territorial soldiers plus 50%, introduction. The Jade Hang of the 7 Stars of the Glass Moon once had some criticisms towards the emperor, and finally understood the emperor's efforts. I hope to catch up with the footsteps of the Rock King Emperor one day. Not bad. Zhong Ming looked at the character's abilities and was greatly satisfied. Leaving aside the character's abilities, what is the difference from ordinary soldiers? This four-dimensional attribute, even in the world of navigation, it is definitely a hegemonic existence. The entire Liyue has at least high-end combat power. Is this the world that Emperor has arrived in? Your Majesty's strength is really strong. Have you built the Qunyu Pavilion here? At this moment, Qingce looked around and said. That's right. No matter when. Liyue needs to be strong. Qingce, now is the beginning of the founding of the country, I need your ability. Zhong Ming looked at Qingce and said in a flat tone. Don't worry, Emperor. I will do my best. Do you have anything to entrust to me? You can start working immediately now. Upon hearing this, Qingce's eyes were solemn and she said urgently. Are you really a workaholic? Seeing this, Zhong Ming couldn't help but shake his head and smile. However, at this moment, Zhong Ming was slightly taken aback. Because on the holographic map, the red dots of the kingdom of Kerland are moving. Obviously, they are heading straight to the imperial city. Brew brew. Brew brew dot. Just then, the phone bug next to him rang. Your Majesty the King. The army of the kingdom of Kerland is moving. Coming towards the imperial city. Also, there is an unknown guard in the imperial city. Is he your person? In the phone worm, Nilsa's voice came. I got it. Those unidentified guards are my people. Also, just ask the army to collect the imperial city. After Zhong Ming finished speaking, he hung up the phone bug directly. Is there something else to do? Your Majesty, Emperor. Please hand it over to me. Just as she hung up the phone, Qingce said very urgently. Just right. There are aggressors who want to destroy us, Liyue. Can you join me in dealing with these enemies? Zhong Ming nodded and said to Qingce. The next moment, his figure flashed and he returned to the imperial city with Qingce. At this time, martial law mode was activated in the imperial city. The Qianyan Army is also majestic and has assembled. Let's go. Regarding this, Zhong Ming did not leave any ink on it. With a big wave of his hand, the mighty army disappeared into place in an instant. When it reappeared, the army appeared hundreds of meters away from the Kerland army. Kerland army, face the Qianyan army that appears. It was also a surprise in my heart. After all, this scene doesn't even look like 6,000 at all. The key is that these soldiers are full of killing intent and high in fighting spirit. Isn't it just a lack of military morale? Although they are only wearing armor. No thermal weapons. But just standing there is enough horror. What's going on? Commander Kerland frowned as he looked at the scene ahead. I don't know why. He suddenly felt a wave of palpitations. Damn it. Morkong cursed inwardly and said displeased. They have never lost against Kerland, how can they fail this time? They are all miscellaneous hairs without thermal weapons. Send me orders. Immediately attack now, before they. Kerland was about to give an order when suddenly her pupils shrank. Kill. He only heard the deafening sound of killing suddenly coming. Soldiers of the kingdom of Tertia, we are rapidly charging towards them. Fast speed. It only takes 3 or 4 seconds. In the blink of an eye, they had already rushed into their army. Ah! Stop! Stop them! Help! At the next moment, a mournful cry sounded. Only to see, their troops, being slaughtered crazily at an extremely fast speed. The soldiers of Tertia. Just one person, one shot down, you can directly cut off a large area of soldiers at the waist. Yes. Just cut your waist. Corpse, blood, is flying wildly. This is not a war. Completely like a massacre. Zalala. What's even more eerie is that a curvaceous woman, like a ghost, shuttles through their army. Every wave of the knife. The terrifying power of thunder and lightning will emerge. P.S. The new book sets sail, seeking flowers, monthly tickets, and review tickets. Readers, why not submit more data? If the flowers can pass 500 and the review votes can pass 50 today, it will immediately lead to another 10 chapters, as the author has promised. Zhong Ming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. Emperor Liyue's First Strike, Heavenly Moves 10,000. You are listening at novel full.audio. Qingce is like a god of killing, frantically shuttling through the army of Kerland. The violent force of lightning constantly triggers violent explosions. Boom boom dot. With a casual dance, hundreds of soldiers turned into charcoal. Limbs, flesh and blood splattered everywhere. Be careful. Get away from that woman. Ah. Help. Help. Damn it, what kind of monster is this? The soldiers of Kerland were already in a state of liver and gallbladder rupture. The originally arranged formation. Overwhelmed with ease, all is howling. Even some soldiers, their minds blank out and they freeze in place, completely forgetting that they are on the battlefield. The level of blood has shattered their values. How? How could this be? Who are these people? At this moment, Morkang's eyes were about to pop out. My eyes trembled violently. Tertia. When, is there such a powerful person? Is this a demon fruit power holder? In an instant, Morkang's heart burst with a strong desire to escape. That's a demon fruit power person. Possessing infinite demonic power. How can these ordinary armies withstand it? And in his stunned moments, the originally massive army has decreased at a visible speed, and many soldiers are frantically moving backwards. Obviously, there are signs of collapse. Bang, bang dot. Kerland's commanding officer fired fiercely at his own soldiers. Even so, there is a posture that cannot be killed. Defeat has become a foregone conclusion. If there really is a collapse, what kind of consequences will there be? I won't say much. Commander, sir. Our formation is completely chaotic, isn't it? This is still a plain area. At this moment, the adjutant was also on the side, trembling and speaking. It's obvious that both of his legs are shaking. Damn it. Withdraw. Hurry up and retreat. Morkang was greatly shocked and quickly ordered his subordinates. This is not a battlefield. Is this hell? Zhong Ming looked coldly at the soon-to-be-defeated Qianyan army. There are no waves in my heart. He was extremely satisfied with the performance of Kuqing and Qianyan. That's right, it's just crushing. War machines are indeed built. However, offend me, Liyue. Can you still leave so easily? Exactly, taking this opportunity. He tried to see how powerful the 5% clock away template would be. Whoosh dot. Thinking of this, he quickened his steps and rose into the air. Flying to the top of the Kerland army. The heavens move and everything changes. In my mind, a thought suddenly erupted. Boom boom dot. In an instant, the sky above turned into a dim yellow. The yellow clouds that cover the sky and sun are surging wildly. There is also a crack in the sky. Countless huge rocks, dragging long flame tails from the sky, descended. My goodness. Then. What is that? Meteorite. Why are there so many meteorites? The fleeing Kerland army was frightened to the death by the massive meteorite. I deeply regret it in my heart. Why invade such a country? Meteorite. What is that? Devil's ability. At this point, Morkang had completely lost his commanding demeanor. My heart is beating uncontrollably. Being held up by adjutants, running for his life with a stream of urine, he didn't expect that Tertia had 2 demon fruit powerhouses. And, look at it. It is still known as the strongest natural fruit. Boom boom dot. The meteorite landed, carrying the power of destruction, and smashed towards the defeated troops. These people were like ants running away. The sky and the earth are crumbling. Under the shaking of the earth. Countless people were smashed into flesh and mud by this meteorite rain. The shocking aftermath lifted all of Kerland's army to flight. Is this the power of the Emperor? So strong. Qingce looked at the meteorite in the sky, feeling secretly shocked. She has never seen it before. Emperor, take action. Because time is too far away. All of them are recorded in the ancient books of Liyue. She only knows, that was the era of the coexistence of demons and gods. In that terrifying era, I was able to bless the land of Liyue, with immense strength beyond words. Your Highness, Emperor. Catch up. Long live, Emperor. The Qianyan Army, their morale is also high. Charge forward desperately. Under such a massacre, Kerland's army is now in tatters. Only the remaining army remains. I hope to run to the warship, leave this terrifying place. Zhong Ming naturally cannot let them achieve their wish. Gently raise your hand. Boom boom boom. The stones in the earth's crust began to surge wildly, and in the blink of an eye, a huge stone wall surrounded the entire country. Even those Kerland warships. Also trapped. Done. Finished. How could this be? How could this be? Morkong looked at this eerie scene, it's completely numb. They don't even have a last resort. Are these tens of thousands of troops really going to be annihilated by the coefficient? Surrender. Surrender. We surrender. Finally, the desperate Kerland army, facing the chasing Qianyan army, all abandoned their weapons. Kneel on the ground and raise your hands high. The outcome of this war has come to an end. Your Majesty, these people. How to handle it? Qingce turned her head and asked Zhong Ming. Surrender. Arrest and throw everyone in jail. Liyue needs to develop. These people are the best laborers. Zhong Ming nodded slightly and instructed Qingce. Understood. Upon hearing this, Qingce nodded. At the same time, I secretly sighed in my heart. The Emperor is the Emperor, there is so much to learn from being around such a person. Soon, these captives of Kerland were escorted into the royal city. Except for these 10,000 prisoners. There are also a large number of weapons and equipment, and more than 20 huge warships. These things, it's all about making Liyue a strong foundation. And, until now, there are still 2 islands that have not been subdued by Liyue. These things can be used in a short period of time. On the other hand, the Qianyan army. 10,000 people were completely crushed in this battle without any casualties. Zhong Ming will handle the aftermath, hand it over to Qingce. We arrived at the gold mine on the main island of Liyue. That's right, he's prepared to first obtain these gold and upgrade Liyue to a second-level country. Unlock more buildings. The prosperity of Liyue is the key to reaching a higher level. With a new thought from Zhong Ming, the resource information of Liyue appeared in his mind. Tip. Liyue Island, underground, the gold reserves are 70,000 units, silver reserves are 120,000 units, copper ore reserves are 360,000 units, iron ore reserves are 547,560 units, the oil reserves are 721,400 units. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6. Liyue upgrades to a second-level country, newly built. You are listening at novel full.audio. Is there only 70,000 units of gold? Zhong Ming looked at the data and thought to himself. It seems that the island of Liyue is really barren to the point of being barren. But the upgrading of the country. Gold is a must-have, only in this way can we unlock stronger buildings. But gold is this thing. Due to extreme scarcity in the world of navigation. Most of them are controlled by the Tianlong people. Therefore, in order to obtain a large amount of gold, it is necessary to initiate trade, or launch a war. And now, it has already confronted the world's government member countries. It can be imagined that it won't be long. The naval forces will come and launch an attack on Liyue. So, speed must be fast. Let's start. Thinking of this, Zhong Ming's heart twitched. Zhong Li's ability began to activate. This is the ability given by the system to mine with just one click. However, after system prompts, the privilege of instant mining. It can only be applied to the country's home islands. If it weren't for this restriction, Zhong Ming wouldn't have done anything and would have gone directly to other countries to mine. Tip. 70,000 has been obtained. Tip. 120000 has been obtained. Quickly, a large amount of resources gathered into data and entered Zhong Ming's panel. At the same time, on the main island of Liyue, all residents of towns are at home, waiting nervously and anxiously. Your Majesty, must we win? May the gods defend His Majesty the King. Even some people are kneeling on the ground, constantly praying at home. Just now, they felt the scene of the earth shaking and mountains shaking. Startled in my heart. They don't know what happened on the island. Even if it is related to the war that is related to the destruction of the country. But due to martial law, they can only stay at home and cannot leave. As time passed, their hearts became increasingly tense. My heart jumped to my throat. His Majesty the King has won a great victory. We have won, we have completely annihilated Kerland's army. Martial law lifted. Victory. We have won. In an instant, the voice of the messenger came from the streets of the residence. What? What? Did we win? Did you really win? Isn't this a joke? In an instant, the original inhabitants of Liyue were completely confused. Excitement surged into my heart in an instant. Joy, excitement, tears running, disbelief, constantly occupying their minds. At this point, instead, the heart beats faster. Because this is a miracle. Victory. We have won. His Majesty the King, he is a demon fruit expert who led us to a great victory and defeated the enemy. Completely annihilate Kerland's 100,000 troops. At this moment, many people walked out of their homes on the streets of Liyue. Excited messenger. Rushing down the street, announcing the news. At this point, everyone believes. You should know that a messenger is someone who disseminates national policies. They won't lie. This means that Liyue has really won. Long live. Long live your Majesty the King. Woo-woo. That's great, I knew the little king was wise. Your Majesty the King, he is a demon fruit power holder, my goodness. On the street, it's already thoroughly fried. People, starting to cheer wildly in the sky. Tears kept splashing out of their eyes. Some people kneel and kowtow, while others embrace and cry. Enjoying this uplifting news. For them, is this simply an impossible miracle? Today, they witnessed too much incredible. In the imperial city. Qing is commanding the Qianyan Army, put the prisoners in prison. Suddenly, a tsunami-like sound was heard. She looked up and saw the streets bustling with people, everyone excited and celebrating. That feeling. She was also very excited. At the same time, a sense of honor and pride arises naturally. The resident's ecstasy. It's her, she never saw it on the original Liyue. After all, in her era, Liyue has long been without war. People's lives are all stable. Originally, Emperor, you are so great. In Qingce's heart, she silently thought. Yeah, why, in the ancient texts of Liyue, everyone worships the Emperor as a deity. Now, she understands. And now, she is summoned by the Emperor. Coming into a brand new world. In this world, create a brand new Liyue. Why would the Emperor choose her? Isn't that because the Emperor saw and recognized her abilities? Do you think she can carry this heavy burden? Emperor, I understand. I will relentlessly catch up with your footsteps. Qingce clenched her fist tightly, silently thinking in her heart. Accelerate the progress. There's still a lot of work to do. Immediately, Qingce instructed the Qianyan Army. The workaholic mode is activated. Yes. Master Qingce. However, if Zhong Ming hears this. A sip of water sprayed out. Hello. Do you need to be so good at brain boosting? At the same time, Qunyu Pavilion. Zhong Ming sat in the main hall, looking at the panel. At this point, where the country is upgrading, there is a plus sign. This means that resources are sufficient for the country to upgrade. Upgrade. Accompanied by Zhong Ming's silent recitation in his heart. Tip. National upgrade successful. Congratulations to the host, elevating the country to level 2. Zhong Li template plus 5%. National level 2 privilege opened. New recruitment for Liyue Pavilion. Increased recruitment frequency. New features appear. Obtaining new building. Qingce Village, specific introduction. At the next moment, the voice rang out again in Zhong Ming's mind. In front of you, panel refresh. System. Liyue Xinghua System, host. Zhong Ming, binding country. Liyue, national level. 2, national population. 195001 people, 1000 rock army. 10,000, number of troops. 6,000, national architecture. Qunyu Pavilion. Qingce Village, not built, national talent. Qingce, a tribute bonus. Currently unavailable, national resources, units. Gold. 50,000, silver. 110000, iron ore. 697560, oil. Upgrade conditions. Population. 100000, gold. 60,000, silver. 80,000, second level. Template bonus. New building. Upon hearing this, Zhong Ming felt a slight joy in his heart. He didn't expect that a single upgrade would bring so many benefits. Unfortunately, there is still a shortage of gold resources. Otherwise, he can directly elevate the country to level 3. However, this matter is not urgent. After all, there are still 2 Liyue islands that need to be reclaimed. There may still be resources inside. Besides, Kerland thought she had offended Liyue. If we lose the battle, will this matter come to an end? This is completely impossible. If the other party can't defecate, count the other party clean. Thinking of this, Zhong Ming's mind moved and opened the panel of the Qunyu Pavilion. Interface refresh. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7. The new construction of Liyue. AK-47 design. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Summoning, recruiting, building. These are the 3 buttons that come into view. Zhong Ming looked at it and immediately clicked on the recruitment. Sure enough, in the recruitment interface. Except for the Qianyan Army, there are 3 more recruitment options available. They are scholars, doctors, and government officials, respectively. Name. Liyue Scholar, recruitment criteria. 5 gold units, corresponding construction required. Liyue Science Research Institute. Introduction. Liyue scholars and researchers are capable of conducting research and development. The more scholars they recruit, the faster their research speed will be. Note. For specific research and development forms, please visit Liyue Research Institute for review. Name. Liyue Doctor, recruitment criteria. 3 gold units require corresponding construction. Liyue Medical Hall. Introduction. Liyue's doctors have the ability to cure diseases, injuries, and medical abilities, based on scientific research and development progress. Name. Government official, recruitment criteria. 3 gold units, introduction. Officials who assist the emperor in handling government affairs, always loyal to the Rock King Emperor, with strong business capabilities, no discount on command execution, and unaffected by financial corruption. Research. Doctors. Government officials. Seeing this, Zhong Ming was slightly taken aback. He didn't expect that. What other functions does the system have? In Liyue, can infrastructure still be built? And the recruitment of these 2 requires. Are they all quite expensive? You should know that a powerful Qianyan army only needs 1 unit. For scholars, 5 units are required. Of course, as the saying goes, you get what you pay for. This represents, the usefulness of the Liyue scholar is absolutely enormous. Maybe, we can really develop those Qanria technologies. And the role of doctors is equally significant. You should know that in the future, Liyue will inevitably launch a war. If there is war, there will be casualties. Not to mention, encountering those powerful pirate kings, and the demon fruit ability. A doctor can definitely provide good treatment for the injured Qianyan army. And government officials are even better. After all, the country has grown or factories have been built. Someone still needs to manage it. If he is left alone to handle everything, he must be exhausted. After all, the current Liyue, those ministers, can still be sufficient. But if the country gets bigger, those ministers also have limited energy. Using a government official can actually manage all aspects without any details. Is the system really comprehensive? Thinking of this, Zhong Ming closed recruitment and clicked on the construction column. Shula. The next moment, what catches the eye is a very large building template. Road. Function. Flat road, 1 km/1 gold, unit, residential housing. Function. Residential residence, requires. 5 gold, units, Liyue restaurant. Function. To make food, 5 gold, units, iron and steel plant. Function. Able to smelt steel. Requires. 500 gold, units, refinery. Function. Can smelt oil. Requires. 500 gold, units, processing plant. Function. Processing of sideline food, clothing, etc., requires. 500 gold, unit, shipyard. Function. To produce large ships, it requires 2,000 gold coins, units, arsenal. Function. Build weapons, equipment, and weapons. Requires. 2,000 gold coins, units. Liyue Science Research Institute. Function. Can conduct scientific research, requires. 6,000 gold coins, unit, Seeing this, Zhong Ming was stunned. Comprehensive, it's really too comprehensive. At the same time, it was also a big headache. After all, building such a divine kingdom is really a bit too difficult. It needs to take care of all aspects. Of course, the most important issue is resources. 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 Yes, even if it's infrastructure construction, without enough gold, it's simply impossible to move forward. As for Bailey, their system doesn't even admit it. Not accepted. After all, this thing is a product of the Tianlong people. Print as much as you want. Something that feels flustered even when wiping the buttocks. Is the task heavy and the road long? Thinking of this, Zhong Li sighed and said. For this, he needs to plan carefully. These things, it definitely needs to be built. That's right, besides having top-notch combat capabilities. The level of technological development, culture, beliefs, and so on, it is the measure of a country's comprehensive strength. Only through comprehensive development, only then can we build a complete maritime kingdom. But now, due to resource constraints, so let's pick the important ones first. Immediately, Zhong Ming prepared to draw a lottery to see if he could get something. In the summoning interface, the number displayed above is 1, who dot. Zhong Ming took a deep breath and chose OK. The stars have once again become brilliant, but this time, it was a blue star falling down, not turning purple or gold. Seeing this, Zhong Ming is still somewhat disappointed. Obviously, no characters were recruited. After all, blue ones are usually just garbage. At the next moment, Zhong Ming's eyes flickered. A paragraph of text, appearing in front of them. Name. AK-47 and 7.62 bullet design. Required. 2 steel, units, Liyue Scientific Research, Arsenal. Introduction. A product from a certain world, with powerful power and resistance, making it widely popular. Note. This system has been modified, and this item can break the armor color dominance. At the next moment, Zhong Ming was stunned. AK-47 design. Sleeping trough. Isn't it? Can we still break through the dominance of armed forces? After seeing the introduction, Zhong Ming smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth. Sure enough, even if the item is not golden, its strength is beyond imagination. What is the gold content of AK-47? Actually, there's no need to say more. In his past life, this was definitely the most affordable, powerful, and valuable equipment. So much so that they are still serving in many countries. But what delighted Zhong Ming the most? It's this weapon that can break through the dominance of armed colors. You know, in this world. But for those who are strong, dominance will inevitably require 1 to 2. Among them, the most common is armed color dominance. Attach dominance to body parts to enhance attack or defense abilities. The bonus is extremely high. And the navy above the rank of colonel. Even if you don't know how to arm yourself with a domineering aura, you will definitely learn the navy's 6 styles. It's quite difficult to deal with. And now, as long as this AK is manufactured, there will inevitably be an extremely strong improvement in strength. It seems like an arsenal, a scientific research institute. Do we all need to build it quickly? Thinking of this, Zhong Ming pondered in his heart. First, do a good job on the main island of Liyue and the necessary infrastructure, then take over the other islands of Liyue, and finally destroy Kerland. Build a 3-level country as soon as possible. Tip. Successfully recruited 100 Liyue scientists. Spend 500 gold. Tip. Liyue Academy of Sciences, completed construction. Cost 6,000 gold. Tip. Arsenal, completed construction. Cost 2,000 gold, Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. CPU carving clear, you are the one of the whole Liyue. You are listening at novel full.audio. Liyue Island, with the crazy construction of Zhong Ming. Visible to the naked eye, the entire building of Liyue has risen from the ground. And these buildings are all beautifully constructed. Tall, majestic, mysterious and unpredictable. On the entire backward Liyue Island, it is an extremely eye-catching presence. My goodness! Are you guys looking? What's going on here? Architecture, are all buildings? Your Majesty, it must be your Majesty. At this moment, the people of Liyue, who were celebrating, saw this towering building. They also froze one after another. With a trembling face, I watched these miraculous scenes. Today, the changes brought to them by the entire Liyue, crazy impact on their values. They have never seen such a magical scene before. I never expected that Liyue would have such a day. Of course, they know it in their hearts. All of this is attributed to their king, His Majesty Zhong Ming. Your Majesty truly possesses a great power that we cannot imagine. Long live your Majesty the King. Your Majesty, are you the hero of our entire country? Thank you, your Majesty the King. For a while, many people of Liyue knelt down crazily towards the direction of the palace. Obviously, the image of Zhong Ming. Prestige. It has reached its peak in their hearts. A powerful king, it is bound to bring about earth-shattering changes in the entire country. Your Majesty, how powerful is it? I never expected that we would see such a shocking day. I'm very scared, could this be a dream? At this moment, Minister Niels, as well as the other ministers, were all so shocked by this magical scene that they couldn't move their eyes. Everyone sighed with emotion. Yeah. Who would have thought that Liyue, who was about to destroy the country? Not only did it not perish, but it changed the world instead. Who would have thought that their new king possessed the power of demons? They are poor, backward, and have been bullied for too long. He hopes to become stronger now. But now, due to the king's reasons, all of this actually had an opportunity to happen. How to make them not excited and excited? Everyone. We must do our best and assist your Majesty well. You must not be lazy. I have a premonition that our king, His Majesty, will lead our entire country to heights that we cannot imagine, that other countries cannot reach. Niels turned around and said to a group of ministers. I'll understand. Lord Niels. Don't worry. We will definitely die soon. Long live the king. In an instant, the ministers also expressed their opinions. Their confidence, at this moment, is unprecedentedly high. At the same time, Qunyu Pavilion. Your Majesty, Emperor. The detention of prisoners has come to an end. Do you still need tasks for me? Qingce looked at Zhong Ming on the main seat and asked excitedly. He. Seeing this, Zhong Ming gave a faint smile. He didn't expect Qingce's work attitude to be so serious. Of course there is. However, you should rest well today. Tomorrow, we need your strength. Immediately, Zhong Ming looked at Qingce and said. Emperor, can I do it? I promise to complete tomorrow's task, but I still have a lot of free time today. You can give it to me, no problem. However, Qingce still said excitedly. Line trough. Volume. Roll king. 2 curly, right. Seeing this, Zhong Ming is a bit confused. Good guy, can't you stay idle for a moment? No way. Just carve a character now. You can't treat the other person like a bull or a horse. If I'm tired and collapse. He doesn't even have anyone to use anymore. We must correct this guy's mindset. Qingce, do you know why I summoned you? Thinking of this, Zhong Ming stared at Qingce and said. Activate cup mode. Your Majesty, you must have valued my abilities. That's why I was summoned. Right. Qingce felt a sense of joy in her heart and quickly said. That's right. That's indeed the majority of the reason. And among them, the biggest reason. I just want to hone your personality. Zhong Ming picked up his hand and said seriously. Personality. Please clarify, Emperor. Upon hearing this, Qingce was stunned. For a moment, I felt a bit puzzled. That's right, Qingce. Your work attitude and efficiency. I really appreciate it. But have you ever thought about it? Your personality is a bit too anxious. You should know that Liyue is just a small place now. Although you have an anxious personality, you won't make any mistakes. But if it were, we would build a country in this world that is far more powerful and massive than Taiwan. Once you're in a hurry, make a little mistake. This will lead to loopholes in our entire country. The bigger the vulnerability, the adverse consequences caused will have a greater impact. Zhong Ming spoke slowly, trying his best to deceive. Speaking of Zhong Ming's words, Qingce also fell into contemplation. What the emperor said is really very reasonable. But it seems like something's not quite right. Qingce. You have to know. From now on, you will be the operational center of this vast country. At that time, if you were still like this, you would definitely have made mistakes. Because you were an individual, there would have been mistakes. Do you want this huge country to be severely affected by some of your mistakes? You absolutely don't want to, so I value you very much. Zhong Ming started painting pancakes, crazy pancakes. Give her some 21st century. The little boss's CPU is stunning. So. Is this like this? As soon as she said this, Qingce immediately became excited. The emperor summoned her. I want to sharpen her. Only in this way can we provoke the emperor to become an ideal Chinese family. Your Majesty, Emperor. Sure enough, I saw it. Is it really far away? Your Majesty, it is to allow her to balance work and rest. Rest appropriately. Only in this way can we better complete the work. I understand. Your Majesty, Emperor. I will go and rest well. Tomorrow, complete the work you assigned. Suddenly, Qingce said very solemnly. Who? Seeing this, Zhong Ming took a deep breath. Damn it, a woman with a work brain is really not easy to deceive. I almost sweated profusely. Okay, tomorrow, we need you to go and subdue the other 2 islands of Liyue. Bring it back within a day. Alright. Will you go down? Upon seeing this, Zhong Ming immediately waved his hand. Yes. Your Majesty, Emperor. Qingce stood up and left. The entire Qunyu Pavilion instantly fell silent. At this moment, night fell and Zhong Ming arrived at the railing of the Qunyu Pavilion. Looking down, I saw that the entire Liyue was bright red. Every street is bustling with people. Everyone is crazily partying. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. The Shock of the Duchy of Kerland. The task is heavy and arduous. You are listening at novel full.audio. Zhong Ming's lips curved slightly with a smile. Build the land of the moon god. Is the task heavy and the road long? Immediately, Zhong Ming began to calculate. Now, Liyue Research Institute. We have already entered the right track, and began to study the design drawings of AK-47. More than 100 scholars from Liyue. It can definitely be researched tomorrow. In addition, now the steel mills have also started operating. As long as the research is successful, the arsenal will definitely be able to produce the first batch of weapons with full power. The day after tomorrow, the first batch of AK will definitely take shape. Within 3 days, the entire Qianyan Army's troops can now begin equipping the first batch of weapons. At that time, the combat capability of the entire Qianyan Army. It can definitely elevate a lot of levels. Zhong Ming seemed to be able to imagine the scene of Qianyan Army sweeping the entire world of navigation with AK. At the same time, the Great Rout. The Duchy of Kerland. The main hall of the imperial city is now brightly lit. Office of the Prime Minister. Kyle Holson is currently on the phone. What? What are you saying? The 100,000 troops led by Morkan caused a devastating blow in Tertia. Was it completely annihilated? How could this be? He listened to the news from the intelligence department on the phone, his eyes trembling. The voice trembled to the point of losing control. Yes, Your Excellency Prime Minister. As sure as fate and according to the latest intelligence, the reason for the failure of this war is Tertia, who has 2 demon fruit experts. And he is also a natural demon fruit ability person. Oh yes, I forgot to report to you. Now, Tertia has officially changed its name to Liyue. As the intelligence on the other end of the phone advances. These things, like a heavy hammer, exploded in Holson's ear. So much so that he is extremely calm. The brain has been blank for a long time. Your Excellency, Prime Minister. Your Excellency, Prime Minister. The voice on the other end of the phone woke him up. All right. I got it. Holson didn't want to listen any longer and just hung up the phone. A strong sense of suffocation. He has become very messy. No way. No way. We must report this matter to His Majesty the King as soon as possible. Kerland is in trouble. Urge all ministers as soon as possible to discuss countermeasures. Holson rushed out of the room while thinking. Bang. However, he didn't stand firm and fell heavily. Your Excellency, Prime Minister. Beside them, the guards were all frightened and hurriedly went to help. Get lost. After losing control of his emotions, he awkwardly got up. Galloping towards the king's palace. At this time, in the bedroom of King Harris in the Duchy of Kerland. Harris is constantly moving at this moment. Playing proficiently. A game that makes people blush and their necks thicker. The room is very beautiful. Dong. At this moment, the door of the room was knocked. Damn it. Who is it? Oh. Damn it. Upon hearing the knocking on the door, Harriston was furious. Crazy and cursing loudly. Just wanted to cast a spell, but was interrupted directly. No one else can withstand it. Damn it. Who is it? Surprisingly disturbing my king at this time. I must put his head inside his anus. There's no way, Harris, who has been disappointed, can only wear good clothes. Walked to the door cursing and cursing. Bang. With a bang. Pull open the door of the dormitory with force. Your Majesty the King. The little guard at the door was kneeling at his feet, trembling with fear. Damn it. You bastard. Didn't you say that you can't disturb me at this time? You damn bastard. Speaking, Harris pulled up the little guard. A punch went over. Bang. Accompanied by a scream, the little guard suddenly had a bleeding mouth and nose. Falling down. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. As he spoke, he kicked wildly towards the little guard. To vent my anger in this way. Spare. Spare my life. Your Majesty, spare your life. Prime Minister. Holson, please let me pass on a message to you. The little guard endured severe pain and shouted wildly. Upon hearing this, Harris stopped venting his anger. Stop the attack. That old immortal. What is he doing here? Why come at this time? Upon hearing this, Harris's face was immediately filled with disdain. Your Majesty the King. Your Excellency, it's about the kingdom of Tertia. The situation is urgent. The little guard endured the excruciating pain and trembled as he spoke. Tertia. Is it? A great victory for Morkan. Okay. That's great. Quickly, let him come to the reception room to see me immediately. Upon hearing this, Harris's face was filled with joy and his eyes were filled with excitement. At this moment, there is such news. He can't think of anything other than Tertia's big victory. After all, now all citizens, including those within the country, are aware of this war. We have reached the point of a steady win. As long as victory is achieved, their country can become even stronger. Immediately, he didn't change clothes either. I rushed straight towards the reception room. It seems that he can all imagine that after this victory, he can gain prestige throughout the country. To what extent? He will be the most prestigious king since the founding of the country. Dong dong dot. Harris had just arrived at the reception room when he knocked on the door. Enter. After speaking, outside the room, the Prime Minister, with a face full of sadness and extreme embarrassment, walked in. Ha, Holson. You are really a great hero of the country. It's so late, still working. Not bad. Tell me quickly, did Morkang's side win? Immediately, he didn't care about Holson's embarrassment and spoke excitedly. He can't wait any more to hear the good news. Holson glanced at his own king and was momentarily stunned. He really can't figure it out. This foolish but highly esteemed king from his own family. If I hear this news, will it collapse directly? Your Majesty the King. The situation is not very good. Morkang failed. After hesitating for a moment, he immediately said. What are you saying? Lost. Failed. How could this be so? Isn't that a war that must be won? How could it possibly fail? In an instant, Harris's smile froze on his face. The whole person howled as if seeing a ghost. Obviously, these words have had too much impact on him. Damn it. Holson, are you confused? Shouldn't we win? Why did it fail? Just rely on those scumbags from Tertia. This is impossible. What exactly is going on? Suddenly, Harris looked like a madman, roaring wildly. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. The emergence of CP0 and being targeted by global governments. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Harris's reaction met Holson's expectations. Yeah. Is this a war that must be won? But the opponent has the ability to bear the fruit of demons. Everything will be different. It's very likely that Tertia was forced into a hurry, in order to survive. Invited a pirate faction from the sea. Your Majesty the King. Please calm down first. Holson sighed and dragged the whole thing out. Except for the downfall of 100,000 troops. And the matter of Devil's Fruit has also been revealed. What? What? Devil's Fruit. This. After listening to the Prime Minister's report, Harris's eyes were filled with fear. For their class. Devil Fruit is not unfamiliar at all. That's a terrifying monster with one person in the army. Especially for natural systems, is that even more terrifying in horror. What should we do about this? Harris panicked in an instant. The panic made him feel a bit unreal. Completely without the arrogant demeanor of the past. I suggest calling a meeting immediately. Discuss. Your Majesty, Tertia and we have a deep grudge like a sea of blood. This matter has not easily ended yet. We don't even know what kind of power the other party has joined. Is it highly likely that the other party will retaliate against us? Holson pondered for a moment and said anxiously. Yes, in his opinion. If Tertia defected to any powerful pirate force, the situation will be unpredictable. And this is a high probability event. Capable of annihilating over 100,000 troops, definitely those terrifying pirates from the New World. 7 Marshal sees. Even the 4th Emperor. If the other party retaliates. The matter is too complicated. Moreover, now there are tens of thousands of elite soldiers stationed on the affiliated islands of Tertia. If you don't retreat back. What about the situation? Yes. Yes. Your Excellency the Prime Minister is right. Immediately convene a cabinet meeting. Harris was completely scared out of his wits. The whole person is numb. Cold sweat soaked his back. It can only be like a little chicken pecking at rice, nodding wildly. Half an hour later, the main hall of the Kerland Palace. Your Majesty, the top priority now. It's blocking messages. Never let the people know the news of the great defeat. That's right, once the news leaks, the citizens will definitely cause huge riots. It's better to seek help from the world government and ask them to send a navy to help us, right? At this moment, a group of ministers were arguing incessantly. Only Harris, like being drained of his soul and soul, lying down on the throne dejectedly. No way. The regulations of the world government are only sought after being attacked by pirates or other non-world government member countries. Rushing for help. The world government won't agree. Holson stopped the ministers and said calmly. As soon as these words were spoken, the room instantly fell silent. Yes, the world government, it's not a long-term protection for franchise countries either. Just to a certain extent. Give military support. The fundamental reason is that there is no particular force. Can annihilate the country before the navy arrives. Or perhaps, those pirates have no interest in destroying the country. They just like to grab money and supplies. Damn it. Damn it. We have contributed so much heavenly gold to the Tianlong people and the world government. These bastards must wait for us to be invaded. Can you come and help us? At this moment, Harris, sitting on the throne, roared angrily. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone was immediately taken aback. Your Majesty, be cautious. Your Majesty, such words must not be spoken. Yes, Your Majesty, if we are overheard, we will be in danger of losing our country. Immediately, these ministers dissuaded one after another. I was extremely frightened in my heart. At this moment, several loud footsteps suddenly sounded. Humble mole ant. How dare you insult the Tianlong people? You really don't know what to do. It's just a group of our slaves who started barking at their masters, it's ridiculous. The next moment, a cold and gloomy voice suddenly came out. Suddenly, everyone was startled and looked towards the source of the sound. I saw 3 tall, dressed in white clothes, with huge white cloaks and masks on their faces, walking in. Ah! You guys! Puff. At the next moment, all the ministers trembled in their hearts. Some ministers with poor resilience immediately fell to the ground. They are concerned about the identities of these individuals, that's too clear. Isn't it a member of CP0? Guernica, Maha, Gismunda. In previous years, these people would appear every year when heavenly gold was collected. Recently, it happens to be the day to collect heavenly gold. Big adults. You. How did you come? Just now, I was flustered and confused. You don't mind being petty, so let's just pretend to be farting. When Harris saw a few people. My soul is about to scare away. He rolled down directly from the throne and climbed under the 3 of them with both hands and feet. Kneel down and kowtow. The anger just now has long dissipated. The 3 of them looked down at Harris from a height. Under the mask, no expression can be seen. They don't have the right to deal with these kings, but reporting is certain. They are also very clear about what will be waiting for Harris at that time. A group of ants. Tell me, what is it that makes you dissatisfied with us Tianlong people? Still late at night, discussing countermeasures here. Scared like this. The leader Guernica didn't even pay attention to Hulls. Just scanning through a group of ministers. Is this? At this moment, the hearts of the ministers had already cooled halfway. They know that the king will not come to a good end. Very likely, will face assassination by the world government in the future. However, since these adults from CP0 have asked questions, they can only speak in detail. After speaking, Guernica, Maha, and Gismunda looked at each other. Interesting. Countries that have not joined the world government actually have dual natural demons fruits. A large amount of gold mines. He. Immediately, Maha's dull voice suddenly came out. You know, they are on a mission this time. It's about going to the world's government franchise countries, those who collect heavenly gold. I didn't expect to hear this news again. Since you're afraid. Then let's go on your behalf. By the way. The Sky Gold transport ship is already at your port. Don't forget to hand in your sufficient share. After speaking, the three of them didn't turn their heads and left. Zhong Ming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.